Who's not getting ads? Where's my ad money that I don't get? Hi. I'll have you know the army pay me a lot of money for you guys to ignore their adverts. By which I mean, no, Twitch gets that. Twitch is taking army money. Yeah, that's army. You can join the home guard.
Frozen shut. It won't budge.
It won't budge. Door's frozen shut. We'll need an army to get through it. Hi, Oobs. Hi, Garrett, Jeeb, and Kira, and Christy, and Miss.
The doors are locked.
Doors are locked. Small creators money? What's that? I mean, this is a free service for streaming. Like, I can't complain too much. But I can complain about my friends being shown adverts that are really annoying. Discord bot sleeping. Oh yeah, hasn't gone. Well, there we are. Absolutely can complain. True. Complain as much as I like. Cool. Muzak. Cheerful music. Turns out. Thoroughly random. Anyway, I'm live, by the way. Just so you know. Didn't get a notification, just noticed the time and went, oh, you should go check. Hello. What's the context for that GIF, miss? As long as it's not 2 ads every 2 to 3 minutes like some platforms, yeah. Apparently we can now like multi-stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time if you want like all the ads. There was previously a thing in the clause about Twitch streamers not being able to do that, but I think they got rid of it now. Yeah, YouTube's horrific, it is, yeah. It just made you laugh and gave you zero explanation of the show, yes. But anywho, how are we doing? Are we well? Sorry, I have a slight headache at the moment, so things are going to be a little bit behind the quick fire pace that you're used to on these streams. Frame Man? Not Frame Man, that's Twitch Man. Fritz is blameless here. Used to be patient with YouTube, but they're pushing it now. Yeah. Twitch Man! Boo! Take a break to rest the head. I did, I took the day off, that's probably why I got a headache. Sorry, Fritz, it's fine, I'm sure it'll cause mischief soon enough. Yee! We're back to whatever's going on in this story. Let's hop on over and hope that OBS doesn't explode in the process. Whoosh. Boom. You don't need to know what's playing. Damn, do I get that? I'd like to say it's nice to know we're not alone, but I cheered myself up with a bit of 60s. One of our RPG group apparently is also into things from the 60s and has informed me of a TV show called Adam Adamant Lives. And I've started watching that, and it's gloriously 60s. So I watched a bit of that, which is why the stream was a few minutes late, because I had to watch the end of the episode where somebody tried to blow up Brighton Pier with bulbs. Anyway. Although I didn't know, the conceit behind that show is that somebody from the, 1902 is frozen, literally frozen in ice. Because that's what happens in 1902. And wakes up in the 1960s. And solves crimes, which is a wonderfully cheesy concept. But the great thing about that is that that's like a 60-year, time skip. If you do another 60 years time skip, you get now. So we could do one now from somebody from the 60s coming in. Or that guy again, he gets frozen again at the end, who knows. He also sounds exactly like Anthony Ainley's master, which is a bit distracting, but there we go. Anyway, Bob! Bob's here. All hail Bob. Yeah, just that guy again. Just keeps getting frozen. He walks into a supermarket, very confused as to what it is, and falls into the frozen section, and no one finds him for 60 years. But yeah. My name is remembered what happens if you have Vivi in your party when you go to the no magic area. If the Vivi asks the black mages what they're doing, They don't have an answer, or they do try to explain themselves a bit, but you can't find the words, and Vivi disagrees with them. I can't remember which it was, but either way, it's very awkward and painful. Oh. Speaking of which, quick recap of what happened last time. So, having been told by the king, who is now a frog, king of Lindblom, although I guess he's technically the only remaining monarch other than Butterknife, who isn't technically queen yet? I don't know. Anyway, so King Frog, King Fly, ironically, there's a frog called Fly, tells us that, what's his face? Mr. Swan, evil guy, who tried to destroy, and did quite a good job of destroying, Alexandria, was seen with a bunch of black mages who could talk. And Vivi got very upset about this, because that means that the ones who have gained sentience have joined Mr. Swan. And they wanted to know what's going on. So we take a trip to the outer continent, or not the outer continent, to the Forgotten Continent? No, that's the other one. It might be the outer continent. Anyway, we take a trip to the continent we've been to before to visit the Black Mage village to see what's been going on. We do so by boat, march drives, or sails, I guess. Quimch has an existential crisis about whether or not to eat a frog that can talk. And they decide against it, I think. Or do they? Yes, we need them for the story. If we didn't need them for the story, I'd just have Quimch eat them. Outer Continent, Forgotten Continent's next, yes. We get to the Black Mage Village, and Vivi does a bit of a stomp and gets very grumpy because what's going on? There's only a few of them left who haven't gone to work for Mr. Swan. And the reason they've gone to work for Mr. Swan is because having discovered that they have a very limited lifespan, Mr. Swan's come along, swanned in and gone, hey, I told big old Queen Helga Muppet how to make you guys. I know how to extend your lives. Come work for me and you'll get a longer life. I'm doing the Fonz point, sort of A kind of thing. We're gonna get you beads. Bee Gees? What? Do we really need the king for the story? Yes. We will see that today. Yeah, otherwise half the party dies. And you chose which half. Yeah, so Vivi does a stomp, and yeah, they have a bit of a conversation about it, and after it's discovered that, you know, Mr. Swan is almost certainly lying, and these guys, us, have the best interests of the Black Mages at heart, and know that Mr. Swan is going to try and destroy everything, presumably. We don't actually know what his intentions are yet, which is a recurring theme for this latter half of this game. But after that, he says that, oh, right, okay, I'll tell you, Mr. Swan has some sort of base or something under the deserts nearby. There's a big old sand pit. Find one, get in there, there's a thing. So we go, and we go to, oh, and there's also Bob. Bob hatches from an egg that a couple of the Black Mages have been incubating, and they call it Bob. Well, Cheap called him Bob. Turns out it actually, in the game, was also called Bob. Pure coincidence, or Bobby. But yeah, Bob. So then we go to the desert area, which I drew very carefully, as you can see, with a bunch of whirlpools and things like that. We go in the right one, and we wake up in a prison. Because we're stupid, we didn't have a plan. Everybody's in sort of, well, people are in different cells in these weird cylindrical prisons with lava underneath. And Mr. Swan says over like a tannoy, hey, you're going to do stuff for me, otherwise I'm going to drop you in lava. Jeeb, yes. Jeeb actually managed to get Bob. And also, I think, was Jeeb? No, there might have been Miss who suggested Beatrix. As far as I know, Mr. Swan's agenda is just to be a bisexual, eat hot chip, and lie. Yes. Not incorrect. But he also wants MacGuffin, and that's why he wants us. We have a little meeting with him after we agree to do this, because otherwise he'll kill all our friends. And he says there's this place on the Forgotten Continent, a place no one's been to it's forgotten. And it's got an anti-magic force field around it, or something like that. And Mr. Swan's whole deal is magic. His black mages are all magic. Everyone who works for him is magic oriented, so they're pretty useless there. So they need somebody who doesn't use magic, and that's where our characters come in. So we choose a group of characters who are not dependent on magic to go on an expedition. You guys chose, if I recall, Nox, James, and Quimch, as I recall. As well as Simeon, who is essential. Bear suggested Beatrix, but Miss shared the suggestion. Okay, fair enough. Yee. So then we get ready for this forced expedition, and we discover that we are taking this expedition on the Girl Boss 1, the missing airship from Lindblom, as stolen by the Queen after she discovered that the King was cheating on her and turned him into a bug and flew away on the airship. And it's here for some reason. The Queen isn't, but the airship is. Simeon wasn't chosen, he was forced upon us, exactly. So you're left behind Butterknife, Betty, Vivi, and Knuckles. Who can do magic, to be fair. Wish you could take him out of the party, but we cannot. So yeah, we got on the Girl Boss 1, and we try and chat to the black mages who are working there, who are now conscious and stuff, so we can try and convince them otherwise, but they're not saying anything. And we discover the frickin' Frack are also here because they don't have a job anymore, so they might as well work for Mr. Swan. Why not? They're evil and chaos and rhyming. But they're also magic, so they couldn't do this job either. But they get to force us to do this job, and they're taking pleasure in that. So then we go over to the continent, we take a long trip, going past 4 cats in a house, riding on a chocobo, through the land. Yeah, frickin' Frack are also here because why not? Why the frickin' Frack not? They all can use magic in some way, just some characters are stronger with physical attacks than magic ones and vice versa. Yeah, kinda. A lot of them have like abilities, quote unquote. So I guess the least obvious one would be James, who does have abilities, but most of those abilities are just hit harder with sword. And most of their magic is basically saying to Vivi, hey, can you set my sword on fire? That is the only synergy in the game. I wish they did more with that. It's a really cool idea. It does still use MP, yes. Simeon has the magic of stealing, and also a bunch of other abilities like flee. You have acquired BJs. What's BJs? Simeon sounds useless. In battle, pretty much. He does actually hit relatively hard. Remember, he can sellotape 2 daggers together. But also, I'd rather just have someone else. His limit breaks are good. I know that because I was doing a randomizer, and that was just one of his regular abilities. It was fun. Anyway, so we arrive at this place, which is weird. It's sort of nestled in mountains, and it's got this sort of very strange, sort of helical design to it. And sure enough, we go in there. Magic's off limits. Can't use magic in there at all. And it's full of monsters, so these guys wouldn't have fared too well. That's fine. We can punch things and hit them with things. Oh, Ben and Jerry's. You have quite Ben and Jerry's ice creams. That BJ is not against terms of service. Yeah, it's forced into the party pretty much the whole time. Levels up a lot and has a decent attack. Yeah, he has like, it's kind of like plot armor. This is like plot strength. He has plot attack, as opposed to plot defense. So jealous of good Ben and Jerry's. Thank you. Take a bow. So yes, we go to this weird place, and it's weird and weird. And we see the architecture is very strange. It's vaguely reminiscent of what we saw inside the strange tree before. This sort of very organic, almost Giga-esque sort of design to it. And we also find a few little plinths that when we interact with them, holograms spring up on top of them, and they show us like weird airships and stuff. Including one called the Invincible. It gives details of like year of construction and stuff, but it doesn't really make any sense. I'd like to thank not only Jesus, but also God. We then go into a room full of faces. We walk into a little platform in the middle and get levitated, and the faces want to talk to us in a language we don't understand. They then very quickly learn English and start talking to us about just kind of nonsense, like arcs and survival and integration of species and planets, and doesn't really make an awful lot of sense. It's quite freaky. Yeah, the Return to Oz. I got a recommendation in YouTube not long after the last stream, which was Return to Oz is a Nightmare. That was the name of the video. Oh, I added a few faces. It's fine. So yeah, these faces are kind of like seemingly like a kind of automated thing. They don't. Is there consciousness there? I don't know. We never come back to this room. It's never mentioned again. It's just here. They came up with an idea and they put it in the game. After that, we find another plinth here, which shows a planet we're familiar with because we've been going around it, called Gaia? Yes, Gaia. It then shows another planet, which is significantly less blue, and it's just very red, called Terra. And it then, the holograms just sort of smoosh a bit, they smooch, and they go, and then the thing turns off, and it's all very confusing. Cheap face. They birth a moon egg. No, they don't. That's there probably is a Final Fantasy where that's the case. I haven't played the sequel to 4, but that's probably something like that probably happens in there. Wouldn't put it past them. Moon's not an egg. Also, there's these weird statue things which, like, create doppelgangers of your characters that instantly kill the characters that they're a doppelganger of. It's weird. But you can kill it with a soft, because it's made of stone. You can just make it crumble. Moon is not egg. If not a Final Fantasy, then probably a Tails. Is there not enough thing happening to the moon in this FF? No? I want to say no. But I might be wrong. Although the fact that I had to think about that is probably going to make you suspicious. That's against all you know of FF. Fair. And this is, Final Fantasy IX is a kind of homage to the series up until this point, because it was the 10th or 20th anniversary of the original games. And they wanted to include a lot of themes from previous games. So you'd think the moon would be a thing. But I don't think it is. For no reason at all to do with current conversation, you've got to continue Final Fantasy IV someday. Just thinking about it now. I believe in you. Anyway, so we're here. What do we do now? Well, we came here for a MacGuffin. Like, Mr. Swan wanted a MacGuffin. Oh, I haven't drawn anything today. He said the thing. He said his catchphrase. And we find a MacGuffin. It's in a weird wall that's shaped like a triangle for some reason, and it's got a triangular recess in it, and the MacGuffin is a triangle. I'll be perfectly honest, unless Kiro can shed some light, I can't remember what this is. It's a MacGuffin in the purest sense. Thing's got an eye on it. Don't know. Still haven't updated the emote. I'm going to do that now. It's literally changing a text file. That's not the one. That's the one that's got all. That's the one that's got all the what's, whys, and hows in it. There we go. It's Flynn now, isn't it? It's Flynn. Capital F, capital F. This is an important thing to do for the stream. Cool. Oh yeah, I forgot about pronounce. That's in there. Cool. Reset bot. Very first thing that happened when the bot turned on was it said Jeff. Gullug. Oh, okay. The Gullug Stone. Okay. That makes some sense. What? What's wrong, miss? Trongles and Trongles. This is a very trongly room. It's a very dark room as well. Anyway, so this is the Gullug Stone. I'm still not 100% sure what it does, but I have a bit more of a clue now, given its name. Oh yeah, the name of the place we're in at the moment. What did Hazel say it was? What Oilvert? Gullugstone. Okay. Looked it up because you cannot remember it at all, and this plinth or whatever is pretty accurate. Big inverted triforce. Not sure what the actual stone looks like. I think it's a triangle. We'll go with that. So yeah, we go there and we go to pick it up, and then we realize, oh, hang on, this is a JRPG, isn't it?
Aelvert.
Aelvert. It's Aelvert. It's a trongle. We can call it the Trongle Stone if we prefer. You want it to be the Trongle Stone? Trongle Stone of Aelvert. So this is the Trongle Stone of Aelvert. This is something I will have to remember. I guess that gives us a choice, because it is named after somewhere else. And now are we going to call that place Aelvert or Trongle? You were drawing on the wrong layer this whole time. Oh no, miss. If it helps, we're about to fight a plane. Does that help? Hopefully that helps. So yeah, we touch this thing and the game remembers it's a JRPG and this is a dungeon, so we have to fight a boss. However, it doesn't know what boss to give us, so it gives us a plane. So let's draw that. Human in the sky plane, pretty much. Sort of an airship with a face. And that's fine, you can be on your own lap. In a dungeon, yes. Again, the game sort of... This is the point at which you realise that this game was really quite rushed at the end of development. Gotta do this from memory.
Hey Parsnips. I can't wait to see you draw a perfect aeroplane.
It's fine. It's definitely gonna look like a plane. Ship is the hip of the world. It's what you said. But yeah, it's kind of an airship with a face, but also it's made of like metal. It feels very like sort of Concorde-y almost. It's a real weird thing. I think it's called Ark. Might be wrong. And I think you also get it as a summon afterwards. So it's technically a monster. Stop it, frickin' Frank. You're not here yet. You're still back on the ship. Not this ship, the other one. think it's got some sort of masty thing, has an evil face. It looks very sort of...
I just did a Google and it turns out the plane is riding a bike and is being piloted by a horse.
It's not riding a bike, it's floating in the air. I can't remember what it looks like, I'll be perfectly honest. That I don't do drugs clearly already don't make any sense. It's, yeah. Looking it up, WTF is that? I don't know. Does it have wings? Like, it might actually have like sort of long wingy things, which is why I'm thinking it's a plane. I don't know. It's a weird thing. And the horse is on a train, riding an air bike. Oh, good. Whatever. I'm giving it wings. It's also got some like portholes so people could look out. It's a flying boat with a sword. Does it have a sword? Have a sword? I guess it's got a sword now. I have a sword here. Because I can't remember if there's anything there, so it's a sword now. Oh, it is a K. Okay. My apologies. That's a sword, okay. Yeah, this is just in a dungeon. Like I say, it's a summoned thing, so I guess it just sort of appeared from there. It's not how you imagine the sword would go on the boat. I don't know. It's where it goes now. And there's a little viewing platform up here. Because I take these things seriously. Gosh darn it. Hoped for fun lore, like it has 6 cats inside. There are many cats, they're all here. There's nowhere really to put their legs, but they're here. They're on the top, they're on the deck, here are their tails. And these two are on top of the world. Okay, it does have helicopter rotors. Does it have the ones at the back as well? Sure, why not? I can't make this design make any less sense. Anything else we want to add to Arc Airlines? This has one big one with a smaller one on top. Go. Hang on. No. I was going to try and make it go around the sword. That doesn't make any sense. As opposed to the rest of this drawing, which is superb. And the real one has helicopter rotors on top of each other. Like, I don't think that's how helicopters work. It's also in a room. A lot of things don't make sense here. Anyway, here's a boss. And like the camera angle of the fight is like your characters are all here. Oh, hang on. Boat's a boss, yes. It's a boss and a summon, because it drops a pumice stone, from which you can summon it. Drops a pumpkin stone. For your feetsies, exactly. I always thought, because this game was the first time I ever heard of a pumice stone. And given that all of the other things you use to summon like monsters are like jewels, diamonds, emeralds, rubies, lapis lazuli, whatever, I just assumed that's what pumice stone was. Like pumice was just, oh, it's a jewel, I guess. Like, no, it's a bloody foot scrubber. Anyway, you find this, whatever this is. How does this transform? You're gonna draw that too, right? Yes. What you do, lasso select, and then up here there's a thing that's called free transform, right? Like this. You can transform it like that, scale it, you can rotate it, you can do like skew, fun times, get perspective. And then it goes blah, 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 blah. My computer is having a hard time keeping up with it. Must leave for RPGs, farewell. Have a good time. So yeah, that happens. I kind of wanted to end on that last time, but yeah. It's a good start to this stream. So we now have the MacGuffin. What was it called? The Trongle Stone of Aelvet. We have the Trongle Stone of Aelvet. And we must make our way back, and we do that off screen. Because we now return to prison, where all of our other characters are hanging out. And in particular, there's a frog. Now, no one's noticed the frog yet. Because the frog was in with Simeon in the prison, and no one noticed that the frog got out. There's like this area here, there's a bunch of doors which lead to all the prisons. And there's a little pathway leading down from them. That was for Kira, that was. Like this. And call back to the very first, very original, OG. And you got this little frog who's hiding out, who is the king, but they're also just a little frog. Doing frog things. There's Froggy Moustache. Good old Midgard test tube elevators. And Frog, King Frog, King Fly. Wish he wasn't the king, wish he was just a cool frog that didn't cheat on his wife. Yeah. Well, being a frog and nobody caring that there's a frog here, this track's playing, which is called Toad Soup. They overhear a couple of black mages chatting, because they can chat, these ones. They have pointy hats. Hinty heads, as we know. Only one with the floppy hat's Vivi. Yeah. It's special. This is a special boy. Probably the Black Waltzes. I think maybe the first one. And don't think either of the second one definitely didn't. But they're dead. Yeah. Maybe the Black Waltzes, but they're dead. We killed them. How do hands work? Thumb out. Cool. Good enough. You're here for the purposes of exposition. You don't get detail. So they're having a conversation, and the gist of the conversation is that everybody else is gonna die. Because Mr. Swan feels like killing them anyway. Don't know why we thought he'd stick to his word and not kill them, but... So, they all get dropped into lava and they all die. The end. You killed Vivi. Good job, guys. And that's the end of the Final Fantasy IX Drawthrough. That is.
Load old save.
Load old save. Back in the days when you could do that. Mr. Swan's a psychopath. True. Oh, shucks. But don't worry, because there's a frog on the loose. And the frog takes it upon themselves to stop the weird sand timer mechanism that is going to make these floors open and drop everyone into lava. Because games. And how do we do that, you ask? Well, it's a very simple two-step process. Step number 1. Avoid the hedgehog pie. Okay, you will do that. Good. You hated this part, but there's fun music. So there's the mechanism that we need to change, or need to interfere with in order to save everybody, is being guarded, kind of. I think this is just incidental, frankly, by a hedgehog pie, which is the name of a monster. I don't know why it's called a hedgehog pie, but it has been since at least Final Fantasy VII, probably earlier. And it's a little spiky friend. And they're in a cage, so they can't really do much. But, mere seconds left when you finally succeeded. So yes, what you've got to do is you've got to play. There's this, this life and death, right?
Sonic.
It's Sonic. Sonic is in here. Much to the chagrin of Knuckles, of course. I'll give them wide stance. And what you've got to do is you've got to avoid it seeing you move. So you've got to creep forwards very gently, ever so slightly. And then when it turns around, stop. And then stop. And then stop. In one of the least interesting and fun and rather annoying mini games. In Final Fantasy, which in a game with as bad a card game as we have, yeah, the characters are still in prison. I'm actually going to stop this, and I'm going to stop my music and play the music that happens when this goes on. Let's see if I can find it. Because I want you to imagine, like, the characters are about to die. There is a clock in the corner counting down to their death. See, I gotta remember what it's called. That's the issue. Okay, this appears to be in chronological order. Good. Oh, where is it? It's not in here. Well, I'll keep playing other stuff and then I'll find it. There's more after this too, and the timer doesn't stop. Oh yeah, this is part 1. But I will find this music. Oh, this is in alphabetical order. That doesn't help me at all. Try to find it. We need to hear it. It is very, very important that we hear this. Okay, I have the name in Japanese. Let's see if apparently the translation is "Look back, see the frog." Let's see if it's this one. Life and death, everyone. There's a time limit. Sands are ticking down. Why didn't I do a cover of this? Anyway, I'll keep that playing in the background. Oh, we've got a build up. 6 minutes, and you're not joking when you say you had literal seconds left when he finishes. Okay, yeah, but we're not done. We're not done. Because you're a small frog. You're a little frog, and this thing is up on a ledge. How do you get up on the ledge? Well, the obvious solution is that there's a set of scales here. Music's ended. I should have tried to illustrate this in the time it took for the music to finish. But there you go. There's a set of scales here, and also 4 weights. Like a gold one and a silver one and like a wooden one and a black one. I can't remember what colours there are. And you have to choose which 3 of these weights you should put on the other side of the scale so that you can get on top of it, so that it can counterbalance your weight without falling down. Yeah, do a little bit of maths. Which 3? Why you can't put all 4 on there, I don't know. That would work. But no, you've got to choose the right 3. So that you can put it on there, so that you can stand on here and get up there. Anyway, this is the weirdest sequence in the game. And the timer's still ticking while you're doing that, yes. It's quite a thing. Oh, I never actually explained how you move forwards in this game. In this hide and seek thing. And that is, you don't move forwards by, pressing forwards or anything like that. No, that would be too obvious. You move forwards by pressing the X button. And pressing the X button advances the animation of walking forwards by 1 frame. So you have to, while not being seen, rapidly spam that button in a way that is probably not accessible. And stop the moment he turns around. Yeah, either way, generally speaking, this is a bit of a weird bit. But, in doing so, because little bits of lag, yes. In doing so, you successfully managed to release everybody from prison. I don't know how turning the timer around releases them from prison, but it does. So everybody's saved. Hooray! You didn't actually kill the 4 characters, and the frog was necessary for the game to continue. Yeah, bits of lag and mistimed button pushes, yeah. Also, the hedgehog pie has, 2 animations that it can turn around, just to sort of and also a just to catch you off guard. I think I've described this bit of the game with more detail than any other part of the game. There is no part of the game left that I can describe with this much detail. Just bear that in mind. Quick, Quimch, eat him! I want to say he's necessary for the rest of the game, but I don't think he is, really. He appears in the rest of the game. Okay, no. We're gonna... I'll give you a choice later. There is a better time to make that decision, and it's not now. I think I said the cage floors would automatically open and drop them into the lava when the hourglass ran out, hence resetting it, giving the king time to free them. Yeah, but it doesn't explain how he frees them. They need him to make an airship later on? What if we let Quimch eat him, and if we needed, Quimch can regurgitate? Quimch learns abilities by eating things. So Quimch learns how to build an airship. That seems reasonable. Blue magic? Why not? Very blue. So yes, we've released everybody, and we're now in this weird place. And when I say weird place, it's like a mansion. We're underneath the sands of the desert. We are in a massive mansion with marble balconies and huge stained glass windows. It's very opulent. How it got built, I don't know. Magic, probably. Desert Palace, hooray! And there's a few mini games around here involving lights and turning things on and off. But in particular, there are orbs. There are orbs. And often you have to find these orbs. They're in weird places. Or you have to solve little puzzles to get them, or you have to do a shadow puzzle or something. So yeah, pretty confusing. It's a bit weird. But this place is sort of the opposite of Aelvert, which is Aelvet was all about use attacks, not magic. This is the other way around. You should really be using magic because everything else does. It's a very magic-y sort of place. It's a light and shadow puzzles, yeah. Things involving statues and what have you. There's also an enemy that's made of orbs. Maybe I'll draw them, they're fun. But I'm going to draw Vivi because Vivi's here. There are these orbs, and these orbs are important because they're a little sort of puzzly thing in and of themselves, which I quite like. I think it's a game concept that I think is underutilized. But it's sort of vaguely interesting. It's not particularly well done in this instance, but nonetheless, it's kind of cool. But the idea is basically you solve the puzzle. These things are you either gain access to them or they turn on, depending on which one. And when you touch them, you get a thing. You get an item. It's cool. It's nice. But there's something else that it does. You have foods. Amazing. Someone help him, it's on a high shelf. Bit too much foods. Can't close your app. Never. That's a fun little like beginning pick. Like pick, 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 pick. Is it small enough? No. Pick, 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 pick. Knuckles, help! Nah, Knuckles is leaning nonchalantly against a wall over here, not helping anyone. Because friends are for losers. But yes, so you touch these things, but then there's some things, some dialogue is said, something about things deactivating, which is a bit weird. I think these have a name like Shadow Orbs or something. I don't know. Is that Solid Snake in disguise? Do you think friendship can bloom on a battlefield? But no, Knuckles is an original character. OC, do not take Square Enix to copyright court. Anywho. Anywho. Maybe that's why they called him Knuckles. Can't be sued by two groups of people, can you? Yes, you can. So, we touch these things and then stuff happens. You get stuff. It's good. You get a reward. Hooray. Ring the bell. Salivate. But then you get to the end of this place. And you are accosted by a defense mechanism that activates to protect the top part of the palace. And that's our next boss. And it's it's like a kind of obelisk sort of stone thing, but looks like stained glass. It's very sort of, I don't know, what is it? Hero, help me here. I've the thought of Knuckles helping you close your wrap, yeah. It's got a good grip. Swoosh. Then everything goes flying everywhere. Stained stone. Yes, it's stained stone. It's this big old stone. I think it's got a sort of weird halo-y thing. Maybe. But it is essentially an automated like defense thing. It's like a kind of, it's called Valley Apira, which really helps. Thanks, game. I don't know what that sounds like the name of a boss in Final Fantasy X. It's a big stone. It was correct. Hang on. Very fancy. I'm gonna grab some picture of some marbled paper. Just want to stick it in here. Oh yeah, it's not gonna work, is it? Stick it on top. Yeah. Nice. What I could do is then do that and bring it in. Ah, there we go. Where's the hole, guys? Let's play. Where's the hole? Probably there, right? It's in the bottom half. It's there. Boom. Cool, that's how it works. It's got a kind of downward sword with wings engraving on it. Little inverted Triforce at the bottom. Another Triforce. Many Trongles. Internet hated that so much it yeeted. Oh no. But anyway, this is basically a kind of cursed obelisk, which is here to stop you escaping with all its magical powers. However, in what is arguably a terribly designed security system, every one of those orbs that you interacted with before corresponds to one of this thing's abilities. And every time you activated it, it just lost an ability. So you can completely, like, well, not completely nullify this boss, but you can just, you know, remove most of its abilities and power and all that sort of stuff just by collecting some items. So if you were having fun exploring and picking stuff up, boom, you can get it. Your stream died when that pattern was brought out. This is an anti-Twitch pattern. As soon as this appears on a stream, it automatically corrupts the data stream and Twitch has to reset. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Yeah, level 1 games do stuff like that. It's one of the, some other JRPGs that do stuff like that too. Yeah. Like when I was trying to come up with a sort of fun RPG idea, one of my core tenets was, wouldn't it be fun if all of the bosses could be interacted with outside of battle, like this? Like in a more organic way than this, but you know, you can then have the trade-off of, do you want to focus more on combat and just go straight into the boss, or do you want to focus more on exploration and be able to weaken the boss, you know? And this was a sort of inspiration for that, by virtue of it being not very good. But and I thought, you could do. There's something here. There's an idea here. But yeah. So this is the thing. You fight it. Then what happens? Trying to remember the order of events here. Okay, then we cut back to the other group getting back from their excursion. And, well, I can just copy this. Here, because it's basically the same sort of thing happens. Yeah, we go back to these others. They sort of teleport into this room from where the airship is. And Simeon hands over the trongle of power. But only he you know, he likes his friends. And he says, "Hey, I'm not giving this over until you prove to me that my friends are safe." And Mr. Swan goes, "Sure, absolutely. Look down this hole here." And you look down and you see all of your friends who you left behind unconscious in a room. In one of the prisons, perfectly safe, despite the fact that they've already escaped. It's an illusion. He was trying to trick him, and it worked because he's an idiot. They made up with Mr. Swan. It was a lying little bit. So yeah, they're still in the prisons, sure. But anyways, like, sure. Now hand me my MacGuffin, please. And we do so, and he gets the MacGuffin, and then everyone else barges in. All of our friends. Here is Vivi's hat brim to prove that they're there. And they're like, "No, don't do it. He was gonna kill us." And Mr. Swan goes, "Haha, I have the thing now. Bye!" And then he teleports away. I think this is what happened. Generally, there's some other stuff that happens as well, but there's a lot of sort of coming in and out of this room for one reason or another. So we've all met up, but we have given away the MacGuffin of MacGuffinness. For whatever it's doing. Yee. Ooh, pretty. There's the pretty in the Discord. Yee. Who'da thunk? Mr. Pretty. Yes. So, yes, he teleports away. He goes back to his home planet. No, he doesn't. He just gets on the airship. And he gets on the airship and flies away, and everyone's like, "Ah, bugger." But not before. We hear the screams of a small child. That's right, they kidnapped Betty, because, you know, why not? I think it was Frick and Frack. I think Frick and Frack kidnapped Betty. But either way, couldn't he just steal the doodad and teleport? Like, if the doodad is attached to the previous owner, it'll just be cut off by teleport magic? Yeah, Frick and Frank kidnap Betty because they're here as well, and they want to be involved in the plot. So yeah. Definitely says but. They kidnap Butty. So we've lost the MacGuffin, whatever it is, and we've lost Betty. Oh, what a shame. But also, Pistachio. Was it Pistachio? Macadamia. What was the name of the thing? I think it was Pistachio. What was the Moogle friend's name? Pistachio, yes. Fluffy little Moogle friend, exactly. They go everywhere together. So we gotta find Pistachio. That's our new plan. That's our new thing. Fortunately, apparently, well, I guess there's a couple of. I think this is actually a chase. Like you leave this place, you get on the ship, being piloted by March, of course. Competent pilot, and you literally chase the airship as it's flying through the air. I don't know how that works. I'm gonna go ahead and assume the airship should be faster than this sailboat. I don't know. But you can also just take a cue and assume that you should probably go to the place that the MacGuffin's named after, which I guess we're gonna call Trongle. So. High-speed chase ensues. That's not high-speed chase music. Now you got to continue playing your save. We're almost caught up to where you are. Exciting. So, and where they go is somewhere very cold. To the sort of North Pole-y sort of area. The ice plains, whatever it is. The best music for a high-speed chase. Now, do you know what the best music for a high-speed chase is? Enough of that. Well, you weren't disappointed then, were you? Sorry, I interrupted your dance, miss. No, I made Miss sad now. Kiro, you made Miss sad. But yes. Yes, we go to this cold place, and there is a building. which looks a bit like a cake. Don't know why I said it looks a bit like a cake. It's just cylindrical, basically. No, you didn't actually make me sad. It's fine. I assume. And what this building is a gift shop. It's a gift shop for anybody choosing to visit the massive volcano. Miss couldn't care less. You couldn't care less about my stream. You heard me. I love when I try and do the guilt trippy thing and my friends just go, yes. Yes, and a guilt trip. That's the way you do it. Anyway, so this is Mount Trongle. And this is the gift shop. / visitor center. I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know how anyone gets here. This is an island just the north of the world. There's no land connection to anyone here. No one from the Mist Continent seemed to know anything apart from the Mist Continent existed, and yet there's a gift shop. It's fine, don't worry about it. But apparently people like pilgrimage here because it's like a holy site. I don't know. Anyway, we run in and we meet a Muppet. It looks a bit like Queen Helga, actually. And he has a big hat on. It's just what capitalism's like. Pretty sure you'd find a Starbucks in Antarctica. Not in your city, though. It's a bit like a clown. But he's not a clown. He takes his job very seriously. Anyway, you run in, and you're like, hey. Well, Simeon runs in, I guess. Don't want to have you guys assume that you're identifying with Simeon here. I think that'd be an unpopular opinion. Anyway, you come in and immediately start shouting and going, have you seen a kidnapped child anywhere? Tell me! And this guy's like, you're very rude, you know that. How dare you? And we're like, we're looking for a kidnapped child. Have you seen a bunch of black mages in pointy hats or anything like that? And he's like, you're so rude. How dare you barge in here and start shouting abuse in this holy site? Incredible rudeness. How dare you? Not like those people who came in before. They were very polite. They were carrying a screaming child, but they were very nice to the staff. They tipped them and everything. Which is an interesting interaction, but basically he spends the whole time complaining that you're not being very nice. But he does tell you that they all went into the volcano, which is a bit weird because there's nothing really there. But you know, they went there. And we're like, cool, fine, we're gonna go to the volcano as well. You could also go into the gift shop and buy some stuff, but you work your way into the volcano. Why does that keep happening? That's really weird. Keep turning off a layer and the folder that it's in turns off. Very strange. And inside the volcano, you find... I think the idea here is that there wasn't really anything, but then they, like... When Mr. Swan et al. Arrived, they sort of blasted their way through some walls. And in doing so, they uncovered... And this was the thing I forgot from when I played it previously. They go into the middle of the volcano, and of course they discover a ancient abandoned subterranean village of mole people. Obviously, they lived inside the volcano. Now, you know it was a subterranean village of mole people because there were a bunch of notes left around by these mole people, written in English, where everybody signs off with their name and the mole, like John the mole, and Kevin the mole. Like we do, as, you know, I'm Crispy, the human. Wait, no, I'm a parsnip. So I guess my name actually is kind of like that. At the moment, it could be both clothes, wall hanger, and vehicles. Oh, what I'd drawn. Strange floating vehicles. With windows. And there's also a well here. With a bucket. And a little lever. And there's a puzzle to work out how to advance, and the puzzle is pull the lever 3 times. Got the song from Thumbelina stuck in your head? I don't know. Do not know. This is the new thing. Last week it was Return to Oz. Now it's this. Thumbelina. Because if you pull the lever, the rope goes down, continues to go down, and you can then descend down the rope. How did I make this perspective work? I mean, I didn't really. That's a bit weird. It's very wonky perspective. Anywho, blah, 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 blah. It works enough. Close enough. Marry the mole. Is that the name of a person? No. Those keys are massive and that door is tiny. But I will listen to the song afterwards. Yeet. And we go down. And we fight, I guess, a mini-boss, which is a little dragon. The mole is the name of a person, not a mole, a person. Good to know. But anyway, there are these sort of big, sort of red birdie dragon-y things. They're around here, and you fight a mini-boss, which is a couple of those, after you get down to the bottom of it. I don't know why, you just do. So I'm not going to give it an awful lot of care and attention. But, they're quite powerful. No, it's... Oh, never mind. I'm sorry, miss. Anywho. Yes, you, Quimch eats well here. You think they can learn something pretty much every enemy type in this place. I think, yeah, did they learn, like, mustard bomb or something? Mustard gas? Too lazy to be bothered. Fully understandable. I'm sure I'll get context from the video. From Feel Like a Kid Again HD. Thank you, Feel Like a Kid Again HD, for your superb YouTube channel in showing us clips of Thumbelina. They learn a war crime. Yay! Well, you think Quimps wouldn't learn war crimes? How many people have they eaten? Pretty sure that's a war crime. Alive, I specify. So many. And here's the thing, right? Here's the weird thing. In the game, you don't learn anything from eating humans, right? So, you would assume that's the kind of like, yeah, eating humans, let's not do that. But you still eat it. It's not like, I can't eat this. It's, that doesn't taste very good. So thanks to Quimch. Pronounced PNG. But yes, so we work out the difficult puzzle of pulling the lever 3 times. And we go down the rope and we fight a couple of these dragon things and then we heal. Because if we advance, we trigger a cutscene followed by a boss. So you heal first after doing that dragon fight. Remember. And what we see at the bottom of this place is a weird... we're on sort of a outcropping here. We're sort of looking down onto this sort of big circular area down here. There's like a door in the wall. There's a big, strange circular thing. Kira, you're probably going to have to help me with some of this, because there's a lot of little things that happen, like people... I'm pretty sure someone leaves your party at this point, and I can't remember why. But anyway, so, and down here are, or is our, Betty. Well, some stuff's happening down here, and we're looking down on it. With incredulity. Going, oh no. Perfection. And what's happening? You get a divorce? What? Someone leaving does sound right, but you can't remember who exactly. I want to say it's Vivi, and I can't remember why. There isn't really a good reason for it. Anyway. Maybe chasing Mr. Swan. It might be. It might be Vivi going, "There's Mr. Swan! He's the one who's tricking my black mage friends!" Ah! And he runs off. Don't exactly know why. Oh, chasing Mr. Swan. Yes, that's it. Okay, yeah. Okay, anyway. So it's a little bit later. It doesn't happen right now. Vivi's sick of everyone's nonsense. Yeah. Vivi's gone. Chase someone down. Anyway, so we have, in the middle of this weird circle, an unconscious Betty. Yeah, Viva's gone through a lot. He has. And we have a Frick and a Frack dancing around, doing their weird thing that they were doing before to Princess Butterknife when they were extracting her summons. Back at the castle very long time ago. So like, we found another summoner. Let's do the same thing. Get more summons. Remember, something that happens and you're still not okay nor ready. I mean, I'll try my best, is all. I can't guarantee anything more than that. We probably, it would be... There's no way of getting cheap here to draw. But I will do my best. Don't worry about it. You're going to be doing a kick for some reason. By some reason, I mean no reason. Part of the thing. You gotta trust the process. Not that, something else, but that too. Got this. I'm trying to work out what it is you're talking about. Anyway, so yeah, they're doing their thing. However, it doesn't appear to be working. And they're a bit confused. Well, sleuth friend. All right, okay. Sorry, I thought it was a thing that I was going to draw that you weren't ready for. No, that's fine. But yeah, they're trying to extract the Eidolons, the summons, from this little summoner, and it ain't working. And Mr. Swan's along here, and he's like, will you two hurry up? I hired you for a job. Must I be surrounded by cretins at all times? Oh, also, one of my other favourite lines of dialogue's coming up, so that'll be fun. Not my favourite, that's later, but one of my favourite. And he's like, will you two hurry up? And they're like, we don't really know why this is working. Why this is working, we do not know, not. Alright, Wesker, pack it. Was I laughed after when you were complaining about Wesker earlier, miss? He's so dumb. Well, he's survived this long, I assume. I don't know, maybe he dies at some point. But anyway, yeah, so Mr. Swan's like, you know, why is this not working? What are you two doing? And they offer some hypotheses as to why this isn't working. So, for example, she's a kid, and there's a reason that they waited until the princess was 16 to do this. And he's like, I don't care. I don't care about your excuses. I don't care if you want the kid to survive or anything like that. Just do it. Get it done. What's the problem? And then Pistachio comes up, and turns out it was Pistachio stopping this happening, hiding inside Betty's clothes. They can shrink, I guess. I think they can shrink. I think it hides in her pocket, something like that. Pistachio, the mastermind. And Swan's like, seriously? A sorting moogle is stopping you? A tiny little baby moogle is stopping you from doing this. Draw bleeping moogles are freaking cute. Give them little nubs. Yeah, Pistachio, best protector. He's like, take care of them. And frickin' Frack are like, okay, sure. And Pistachio's like, gonna stop you. And frickin' Frack go, oh, it's a bit much. Mr. Swan's like, it's a moogle. Do the thing. And I think I'm gonna editorialize because I can't remember the exact sequence of events here, but I'm gonna say that Betty starts to wake up a little bit. And I was like, what's going on? Hey, Pistachio, how's it going? And Pistachio's like, don't worry, I got this. And then there's a fight. Anyone remember how long ago it was we fought frickin' Frag? Literally just before this. That was a good guess. There they are. Yeah, it's all hodgepodge, and yeah, this part of the game is just a series of events. And it's just because we haven't managed to run down yet; they're quite far down. The rest of the party haven't got there yet, so it is just Betty, a slightly unconscious Betty. A groggy toddler. She's eepy. Mood. I throw up. And also, Pistachio, of course, they're here. But rather than, you know, being Pistachio and speaking like a moogle of the sort of things going on, all of a sudden, that's not, new layer please. Boom. Goes dark and weird. And Pistachio goes, I got this. I can't remember exactly what they say. But something along the lines of, I got this. And then Pistachio turns into like a massive wolf. Don't know about God, but definitely more than we thought, yeah. So I'll just explain the gist of this while I try and remember what they look like. I can't remember what they look like, I'll be honest. It's kind of like a wolf moogle thing. We'll work it out as we go. Yeah, legit magical guardian. So I mentioned before, Barbie give scriptures. I'll be a Pistachio. So I mentioned before that the reason Frickin' Frack waited until Butterknife was 16 to attempt their thing is because when a summoner turns 16, they get their own Eidolon that looks after them. And in the case of Butterknife, that was Alexander, the big old winged thing that protected the castle when Mr. Swan tried to attack with Bahamut. Turns out, having been essentially orphaned as a 6-year-old in the summoner's village, the only thing left other than some moogles, Betty's guardian Eidolon thought, we probably sort that out. Yeah, Betty's got one too. And disguised themselves as a moogle. And became their sort of little live-in guardian angel sort of thing. So that's what Pistachio's been this whole time, little guardian angel. Only big guardian wolf thing. I'm not going to do this justice because I can't remember what it looks like at all. I have no idea. So I'm just going to draw angry Pistachio. Yeah, Pistachio's a god, basically, an eidolon, a summoning beast. And unfortunately, this means they're not a moogle anymore. They can't, they can't go back to being a moogle after this. And they had rather hoped to grow up looking after, looking after Betty and being together and all that sort of stuff. And they had that whole thing with the ribbon of like, you know, oh, it's a bit big for Pistachio right now, but when they're older, we'll wear it together and we'd be fancy ladies together. And so I was looking forward to that. But no, 'tis now time. Once you go idle and you don't go back. It's like Pringles. They're buff now. If you can't remember, make it silly. Do you remember that rule? Thank God Pistachio could still wear a dress with Betty. Yee. A kind of now version. The idea is it's supposed to be a kind of like bittersweet sort of thing. Of like, yeah, we saved Betty, but you know, we don't have Pistachio anymore. Not in moogle form. They have now ascended. And suffice it to say, pretty quickly deal with frickin' Frack. What with them being like a god. Big old burst of godly energy. Can't remember if Pistachio was really Fenrir or Carbuncle, considering the wolf appearance and protection, but it's also, but it's neither. Yes, it's Medine. See, I thought it was Fenrir, and that's why I originally went with wolf. But now I was like, no, that's not Fenrir, is it? It's Medine, and I can't remember what Medine looks like at all. So, buff Pistachio. That's what we get. Not gonna take no nonsense. Gonna crush some Jester skulls and succeed. Going to sleep. Have a good sleep. Enjoy the sleep. Like this version more. Good night day, everyone. Have a good one. Thanks for chit-chatting and hanging. And I hope you enjoyed your ice cream. You won't miss much, don't worry. So yeah, and yeah, successfully defeats, i.e. kills, frickin' Frack, and their theme has just arrived. Bad timing. Is a Digimon? Maybe. Might be a Digimon. No, but it can't devolve, so it has to be a Pokemon. Yeah, you looked it up. I want to look it up now as well, because I have no memory of what it looks like at all. Oh, it's sort of lion-y. Lion with wings. It is buff. I got that right. Doodly-doo-doo-doo. I should have made a second version of this music for reasons. Legitimately love the frickin' fax theme showed up now, yeah. Well, while that's happening, so yeah, and we have a little solemn scene in which Betty is sort of standing here and is like, oh. My childhood friend. They're gone. Oh, that was also why they were the same age.
We're gonna need a bigger dress.
We're gonna need a bigger dress. I will draw Buff Pistachio in a dress if you want. But as we're thinking that, a little sentimental thing, the little ribbon that they had comes sort of fluttering down. and sort of lands in Betty's hands. I did say hands, so I do have to drill them. The music ended. It's fine, don't worry. And it sort of flutters down, lands in her hands, and that's as a little memento. And it's a piece of equipment, and that's how you learn how to use the summon. The Pistachio's essence is now in that. In the ribbon. And then everyone else arrives. We're all here. Everyone else is here. Off screen. Everybody important is here. And Simeon. So yeah, we all arrive and we're like, wow, just in the nick of time to save you. But Mr. Swan's here. Also, where is Mr. Swan? And Mr. Swan's like, God, anyone do anything right? Because frickin' frack, where are they? Let's grab them from here. Sorry, Pistachio, you don't exist anymore. Frickin' frack, dead on the floor. Boom, like that. No! Cutting up their bodies. Give me a sec. Fine, I'll put you on your own layer. If you're gonna be like that, put you on your own layer. I'll put you there, and then we can I organized this scene well. Don't worry about it. Alright, so they're there and they're dead. You're on your own layer, so I'm gonna change it. Rip Cuthbert's underlings, indeed. And Vivi, seeing Mr. Swan's like... You had my friends! Yeah! Mr. Swan's like, well... I can't deal with all of you, so I'll give him a little help. And he does a little swoosh. Little magical swoosh. With some sparkles. Ooh, magic. And then he buggers off with Vivi chasing after him. He's like, no, you come back here, you bastard. Which is, I think, largely just so that we can have Betty in the party. But before the rest of us can chase after Mr. Swan, the dead bodies of frickin' Frack start moving. They start going up like that, and then they start swishing around, and then they start going thump like that. And then they just sort of body horror into one. Yeah, if you didn't like Nightmare Cuthbert, if you didn't like Cuthbert, this ain't for you. And then you fight one horrible jester. I believe his name is Melty Gemini. Yeah, Melty Gemini. Because that's not really a name you forget. Now, I can't remember exactly what's going on with their faces. This was the bit I wanted Cheeb for. Because this is like... I can only do this justice with Cheeb, like, in Sunday Horror Doodles mode. We're talking that sort of texture. Fugue State Horror, exactly, you got it. What's going on with the faces? Are they just like two faces? I'm gonna put two faces sort of either side. Sort of... melting down, why not? Let's go full horror with this. I've kind of done the comedy drama thing, haven't I? That works. It's horrible. It's very not nice. And it's very floppy, flops around a lot. Looked it up, it is indeed not very nice. Very not nice. Yeah, and it all, like, in terms of colours, it's very sort of browny, reddy purple, I think. Fleshy. I think it is just sort of a weird mass of stuff at the bottom, isn't it? This is not time to be eating toad soup. This Sunday Draw is going to be you rendering this? Yay. Yeah, and you have to fight this. Fight Melty Gemini. It's a fun time. I honestly don't remember much about the fight other than the fact that it's just kind of a horrible concept. Yeah. And then there's a door. We can talk about what's behind the door next time. Literally melty, they fuse. They do a fusion dance and it goes horribly, horribly wrong. They're very floppy. Door! Do you remember there was a door? I drew a door.
This crate is blocking the door.
There. There's actually a door, it's not just a doorway. And according to Jack, there's a crate blocking it. And we hear banging from inside. As somebody says, hey, can you let me out? And we'll find out who that is.
Nothing but a craven.
They're nothing but a craven. They simply can't move it.
The doors are tightly sealed.
By a crate. I'm being creeped out by the dead.
All the drawers are locked.
There are drawers in this crate. It's a crate of drawers. Full of tights, which is why it's tightly sealed. Yeah, creeped out by the dead puppet jesters.
I won't be
fusing
able to
together.
open it from this side.
No, you can't open it from this side. Somebody has to move the chest for them. That's the thing. Otherwise, don't really remember much else about the fight. First fight against them is more memorable. Yeah, the fight itself is not anything really to write home about. Simply, big old horrible jester blob. Yeah. It's a thing. It's a more memorable design in the game, though. It's more appropriate and memorable than plain. Do you remember plain? We got through 3 bosses in this stream. That's pretty impressive. And all that plot. Plain. Arc Airways. Do you remember? Now I don't. What was the stone for? What was the trongle for? Was that to get in here, maybe? Maybe that was how we got entrance, but there wasn't like a special gate or anything. Was it for the ritual to do this? Huh. I think the MacGuffin involved this in some capacity. I don't know. Do you think so? We're in a very MacGuffin-heavy part of the game. We get through them quite quickly and without really much point. You'll check the wiki. Oh dear. But yeah, that'll be all. Because I have a headache and I'm gonna have a shower. Try and get rid of it. Thanks for coming along. So apologies if this was a little slower than usual. The headache didn't dissipate as it usually does in these streams. Usually it goes after half an hour or so, but it's just been sort of trundling along with me. Bloody thing. There's gonna be a horrible jester monster bursting out of my head. Hot shower helps you. Well, you have a hot shower as well. Everyone have a hot shower. You'll rest my head. And watch more Adam Adamant. The big issue with Adam Adamant is that most of the second series got lost. So they've only got like 1 and a bit series. Ooh. They needed the stone to gain entry to the place. It wouldn't have been nice if we'd seen like a gate. More poison! Yeah, it would have been nice if we'd seen a gate that they had to open. Like, even Curse Eye of Isis had gates with the things that you need to open them. Like, Final Fantasy 9 can manage, surely. Okay, so they needed that to get into the... That's why no one had been in the mole place before. Well, since the mole people died out, question mark? You know, Larry the Mole and Kevin the Mole, all that sort of stuff. Oh, I remember Jive. Jive was good. Go rest, hope you feel better soon. So do I! Maybe there's gonna be a storm or something. Usually get a headache when that happens. Everyone take a hot shower, watch a cozy show, a movie, and get comfy. Yeah, everyone take care. I'll be back tomorrow morning, headache notwithstanding. And we're gonna carry on with Urk and Zig. And I did think maybe Saturday morning we might try doing a cover. We might try maybe like Death by Glamour. I know Cheeb was interested in that. I also found the old, what's it called? Crispy's Random Generation Funhouse of Doom or whatever it was called. And in that I asked you people at the beginning of the year, hey, what things do you want me to cover? And so I have a list of those, which I never did. If you're awake, you'll be there. No worries. Yeah, so we've got like On the Battlefield from Knights and Merchants. Red Alert's Hell March. The Wii Me screen from the hit game console, Wii. Silver Will from The Legend of Heroes trails in the sky. Open parentheses, don't look at me, hides, close parentheses. There is Spider Dance from Undertale on there as well, from what I assume is Kira. Wonder who that could have been. So yeah, there's loads of things that we could do covers of. I've never done a cover on stream. We'll see how it goes. Haven't played much of guitar and stuff recently, but you can de-rust. Also, still don't look at you. Yeah, he suggested Spider Dance is fun. We'll see. I'll listen through to some stuff, see what we can do, and then maybe I'll set up trying to work out a cover on Saturday. I'll try and learn the song in advance, but we'll work out the arrangement and that. But yeah, hope you all had a lovely time. I'll be back tomorrow morning as previously specified, and then on Saturday we're going to be doing something. We don't know. The person who usually tells us what we're going to do isn't going to be there. So maybe we'll just have some chill Valheim. Jeep can build a house, and I can look at it and say it's wonky. Or maybe we'll do something else. Maybe we'll do Dead by Daylight, or maybe we'll do Overcooked, or Minecraft. I don't know. Not wonky. Ride ponies. Gotta find ponies and ride them. Fight Joel. So yes. We'll have fun on Saturday doing stuff, hopefully. And I'll see you all around. Have a good time, everybody. Also, just as a random aside, I got a delivery today of like 13 different colours of wool. So I've got some crochet to do. Hopefully you like the things. Have a grand old time, everyone. I'm gonna see you around. Wool. Yarn. Not wall. Neat. Yes. Hopefully make things for people. My plan. Yes, good night, everyone. I'll leave you with some spiffing Final Fantasy music, and I'll see you around. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.